Southern Free. Live from the shed. Southern Fried Soundstage, you know we rock hard. Baby, out here, that's the only way. We'll bring it on the good times. Southern Fried Soundstage, if you wanna get crazy. Out here, that's the only way. We'll bring it on the good times. All the good times. Southern Fried Soundstage. Southern Fried Soundstage. Southern Fried Soundstage. Southern Fried Southern Fried Soundstage. 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 Southern Fried Soundstage.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Welcome back, Dave and the AM Cornbread Man. The sound stage. Been a little bit, had a lot going on. Just things, life, not been able to get the music show in. Finished up our last one. We did our last one on Def Leppard. We're going to go to Aerosmith tonight and have a discussion. If you would like to be involved, just jump in the chat and we'd be glad to do that for you. And we'll talk about them in a couple, this is open, kind of open. You can do it any way you want. But if you would like to share a little bit about your memories of Aerosmith and seeing them in concert, or just a fan, you don't have to have seen them in concert, although that's a great experience that we all have when we think about groups that we, that we like. I don't consider myself in my, for some reason my picture went haywire, probably because I've been on so long tonight, but we'll get that back up just because I like the fire and the water, and I think that looks cool. So we're connecting back up. So hopefully we'll be back up there in a sec. But anyway, I'm going to do my 3 albums tonight, of which one I will go ahead and tell you is an Aerosmith album. So I'm including them in the 3 albums. So I do a 3 album look Dave's Vault for the music, and we do Dean's Vault during the racing show, Dave's Vault for the albums. And we're going to kind of start with that because I want to kind of get into Aerosmith. Once we get there, we'll never get back, probably, and the time will fly by. So I'm going to cover 3 albums. I will make the Aerosmith album I'm going to highlight tonight, the last one. This is Dave's Vault. These are albums that I have, and these they've all. I think I've got some albums that's not been played. like I've got picture disc and stuff that I've never played. You know, it was kind of like you know, you just want to keep it protected. Some people don't care. Some people get fanatical about that. But my album's usually in pretty good shape, and this one is in really good shape. The first one that I'm going to cover, and this is a good time to cover this group because of kind of some celebrations for them as a group that has had a long career and you know, has a lot of different members, obviously, but you know, doing some really kind of going in the future kind of thing, you know, and but kind of wrap it up for some of the guys that are still connected. You know, we're in that time frame where a lot of the classic artists are passing away, or they're having to step down from the band and from the road. We just seen that with Dee Snider, who Twisted Sister just can't do it no more, and that's sad because I know they were planning a big get together back. I was never the biggest Twisted Sister fan, but you know, a couple songs I like. But that's sad that you want to go out and health gets you. That's why these bands that continue to kind of wait. One day they're going to wait too long and they're not going to have the opportunity. Put your egos aside. Hello Skid Row. You know, just do it for the fans, if for nothing else. I think that would be an amazing tour. Bring the new singer along too. Who cares? You know, do a set with him and do a set with your new guy. I don't care. But you know, do the hits with Sebastian Bach and then let him go party or whatever. But you know, you know, they had you know, he had to step down from the band due to health. You know, we're seeing people die that are members of bands, old bands, and you know, we're seeing some bands go back out with some replacement members. You know, Rush is a classic example of that. I don't think I'll go, can't afford it, but I think I would really enjoy that. I did see Rush live once in Atlanta, or no, it was actually in Chattanooga. I did see Rush. They put on a great show. I think this would be really good. I think they will put the work in to make it good. And the lady that they're going to have playing the drums, she seems like a really, I mean, I've watched some of her videos, and you know, I think you know they'll do honor to it. I mean, you can't replace Neil Peart, but and nobody's trying to do that. But you know what? I don't begrudge a band wanting to go back out and play the songs. You know, they've been away a good while. You know, he wrote a book. They've recorded some music individually, and you know, it's kind of like they got together to jam a little bit, and the itch got there, and the money is there. And hey, if this is it, this is it. Go see them. I don't have a problem with it. Some people they spend the whole rest of their life griping that this classic example, Leonard Skinner. Everybody knows that the classic lineup died in 1977. It's not going to change, but I have never had a problem. I've always enjoyed listening to them play. With various members that came in and out of the band when they reformed in '87. But that's me. Some people just have to be that person. It's never the same. It's not the original. Well, you know, in life, you don't get the original very often for long. I mean, a few years if you're lucky. Think about some of the band. I mean, think about any band. People have died. People have retired. You know, some people, they were fired. They didn't work out. So you get a variation of new members, old members, returning members. One of the bands that did a really good job with that one time, because I know there's been controversy there, but you think about a band like Whitesnake. I thought one time they brought back some of the older members and let them play again with them on stage. I'm glad they did that for the fans and for the people that weren't playing with them anymore. So, you know, as you get near the end, you think you're pretty close. You know, I think it's time to unload the vault and just do whatever. But that's up to them. It's their life. My first band I'm going to highlight, this is Dave's Vault. This is my album. This is not somebody else's. Is Foreigner. This is Double Vision. I became a fan of Foreigner in the 70s. I don't remember which song I originally heard first that I became a fan of, but I think it was this. This is not that album. This is a later album. I don't think this is. I think I got this later. My original one got destroyed. I wore it out. I can remember that my grandmother, and I know it's this one because it was the first album that I bought of Foreigner, and the reason I remember that is my grandmother came up to help my mom, and this is my dad's mom, and she came up to help my mom. I can't remember. I think she just had my sister, and she came up to help a little bit. And we had a little stereo system that sat in the living room, and my mom was there, and everybody. My grandmother's. I wasn't even thinking about it, you know. Just as well, I went to church and everything, but Hot Blooded was my grandmother's like, what is that you're listening to? And here I am, the teenager listening to Foreigner. But it's a great album. You can see the back of it. This is an album that's in good shape too. I was just pulling it out. This one has not been played that much, if at all. I don't even know. It's probably, since it's open, it's probably been played once. The original one I wore out, so this one is in great shape. I don't see a mark on it. Still got the little plastic there. The only thing I opened up was the end and pulled it out. It looks like it's in really good shape. You can find a couple of dings here, little small ones, but this is almost an A+ one. And what's even better is the music that's on the disc or on the record. Hot Blooded. I mean, that was they still play that one on the radio, right? Hot Blooded. It's great song. I love that classic sound of them. And really, a song I really like even more than Hot Blooded is Blue Morning, Blue Day. I love that song. I haven't yet. Watchmen. I am going to. However, coming home today, I heard Sweating Bullets. I haven't heard, but I've heard good things about it. I wanted to, I like that Megadave, Dave Mustaine. But Blue Morning, Blue Day, You're All I Am, Back Where You Belong. Love Has Taken Its Toll. Then, of course, side 2, Double Vision. Love that song. Tremontaine, I Have Waited So Long. Good song. I like that. Lonely Children, Spellbinder. Some of the songs never made it to the radio format, except maybe they're playing an album. But this was a very strong album. No, it's not their biggest album, but it is a very good album. But Double Vision, Foreigner has not, they have a long history. And I'm a big Foreigner fan. They weren't heavy, but they were rocking. They played, they put some different kinds of sounds in there. They were big on the ballads. And actually, Foreigner, one of Foreigner's songs was kind of me and my wife's song when we met. We story on that real quick. I was her family owned a bar, and she would help out. And they had a jukebox there. They had a band that was her. Half the band was her cousins, but they had they had other players. I think it was four members a band, and they would play. But when it was off, like at all bars, people would put money in the jukebox, and they just happened to have some Foreigner, and so they had other groups too. But we wore one of those ballads out for that, and people would find some of them biker guys are like, "Who keeps playing that song?" We just kind of look at each other and laugh. That was kind of our song. But here's the thing. I did see Foreigner in concert, but it was not in an arena or even an amphitheater. It was outside in Chattanooga. They did have for years, going on 30 plus years. They've changed the whole thing up now. It's totally different. But they had the Riverbend Festival. And one of the years at Riverbend, Foreigner played not on the main. They weren't on. I don't even know if it was at Riverbend. It could even have been a different event, but they weren't playing on the barge that they would float up to the area. This was actually out, but I got really close to the stage. It was an excellent show with excellent sound and the classic lineup. And I'm so thankful I got to see that, because in a few years after that, things started changing. So there are some albums that have a group. There's very few that I didn't get to see that I wanted to see. I did get to see them. This would have been in the 90s, mid 90s, I think. So around that classic time of, late 70s and the 80s, early 80s. I didn't get to see them then, but they've always pulled good crowds, and they've always had successful tours. So thoughts on Foreigner, Double Vision? Are you a fan? You're not a fan? Foreigner 4 is one of the biggest. Just huge, but they're a hit machine, but in a good kind of way. They could write a hit. Shout out to them. I'm not really covering them tonight. But there's my first one. The first album from Dave's Vault is Foreigner, Double Vision. I was a big fan of, in the day, Tom Petty. And, I'm going to say that it's like some groups. Do I say that I like every song? No. But man, there is a long list of Tom Petty songs and the Heartbreaker songs, Mike Campbell, that I liked. You can see the back here, that great classic lineup. Well, look how young they are. Rest in peace, my friend Tom Petty, who came out of that North Florida. I mean, he was a California dude, but he came down and got mixed into that North Florida. Not a fan of Foreigner, Watchman, or you're not a fan of Tom Petty, or both. I like Foreigner, but that's cool. If you don't, you don't. Well, I'm going to pull up here in a minute, and we'll talk about that. That's going to be my last album that I'm going to show, and we're going to talk about albums. But I mean, who could, side one, a One Story Town, but then the next song, You Got Lucky. That's the song that really made me a Tom Petty fan. And this is the video age, MTV. You're seeing that stuff, but You Got Lucky, Deliver Me, Change of Heart. I like that one. Finding Out, We Stand a Chance, Straight Into the Darkness, The Same on You, Between Two Worlds, A Wasted Life. Some of those people wouldn't recognize, but it was a really good album. But obviously, You Got Lucky was a great song. Watchman says, my sister had that album. She turned me on to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. A prolific songwriter. He wrote. There was a guy that I used to work with, and he was a huge Tom Petty fan. And he was from Florida, and he lived down the area that something is in the secret sauce down there, man. You think of all the bands was in that North Florida area, from the Southern rock to all kinds of level. I think it was Don Felder, wasn't it, that taught Tom Petty how to play the guitar, if I'm right on that. And Don Felder and other Eagles and all of that. Refugee is my favorite Tom Petty. Yes, I would say probably for me too, Refugee. That's a great song. It's a good driving rocker. But I like the Wilbury stuff he did later on. I'm not a huge fan, I'll be honest with you. It's catchy. I'm not a big fan of Mary Jane. I'm just not. But he continued to write really good hits. But he had a unique way of writing, and the Heartbreakers was a really tight and good group. Of course, Mike Campbell later on played with Fleetwood Mac a couple of tours, and I love the duets. Like you got Tom Petty with Stevie Nicks. That's a good song. Don Henley doing the same thing. Stevie Nicks was amazing talent. We'll get to Fleetwood Mac and Stevie one day soon, but this is a really good album. It is, and that's a really top band, and I hate that he died so early. Now, I've got a friend, and he says, you be the judge. He said, amazing talent, ugly guy. He always thought Tom Petty was ugly. I'm not going to call somebody ugly or whatever. Maybe I have. Forgive me if I have. And backside, you can see it. I wouldn't say that he's the most striking fellow, but I don't judge people on the way they look. And I was thinking of this guy that said it. I was thinking the bands that he liked, and I was thinking, dude, there's some rough looking dudes in those bands. But for some reason, he would always bring that up. Oh, ugly dude. I'm like, man, come on. Good friend. If you're listening, I don't know if he ever listens, but if you do, you do. So, and that one, I don't remember, before I move on to our topic tonight, which is Aerosmith. I wanted to see, because I don't know if I pulled it out. I did. The album is kind of cut just a little bit on the cover, and you can tell I've played this a little bit. Oh, I see a good old size. Maybe not. A little bit of dust on there. There's not bad. You could play this one. It would play well. It was not as good a shape as a Foreigner, but it's a good album. All right, da 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 da. We're going to talk about Aerosmith tonight. Watchman, that's not nice. Ugly as homemade sin. Wow, man, that's cutthroat right there, dude. Come on, come on, man. All right, let me dig this one out. Look at the. I think this one is probably. It's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of dust. Hadn't had this one out in a while. Really good shape. This is actually not one of the original releases or anything, but it's got a lot of good stuff on it, because it's a greatest hits album. And what a great way to cut. This is in the vault. This is Dave's vault. So I bought it. I have had other albums by this group. It's all in pretty good shape. Not great, but pretty good. But I listen to it a lot. So I'm gonna tear that a little bit because it don't matter to me. This is my Aerosmith album that I'm just showing tonight. It is the greatest hits. It has on here "Dream On," same old song and dance, "Sweet Emotion," "Walk This Way," "Last Child." I mean, this thing's loaded, right? It's the greatest hits. "Back in the Saddle," "Draw the Line," "Kings and Queens." Man, that's a good song. "Come Together," the remake there, obviously, and "Remember Walking in the Sand." This is a really good album, obviously for the hits, but that was in the vault. I forgot I had it, honestly. That's why I dug it out. Later on I had a lot of CDs, and a lot of my stuff with Aerosmith was on cassettes or CDs, and I just realized I didn't have a lot of vinyl with Aerosmith. As we think about Aerosmith, I mean, they're very different over their career, right? I mean, if you look at their early stuff, I mean, very bluesy, great early sound, right? I mean, they just hit it and ran with so many good songs. You wore that out on cassette, yeah. Um, but then they went through, they obviously got bad on drugs, the whole band, and then they had that weird thing happen where like Steven Tyler is touring with the Replacement guys. What a dark time for the band. And honestly, they were headed for the dustbins of history. Really, Aerosmith had become a joke of its own self, and I mean, the classic stuff was always going to play, but they were treading no new ground, and they looked rough. They were living rough. They looked rough. Played hard. I'm talking about partying and all that. And they were, and then and everybody knows the story, right? If you know anything about Aerosmith, was that amazing, Run DMC thing, man. And of course, we're living in the time of MTV. They did a great job with that video, and they decide to, do "Walk This Way," and they wrapped that thing up a little bit, but brought in the band, and then they're kicking walls down and playing, and it kicked a lot of walls down for them, and then it really was the start of something great. I mean, their next few albums were killer, man. So when I say favorite album, it's different eras for me because, Pump was a great album, an absolutely killer album. But to go back, I mean, it's really hard to pick. I mean, because for you, Watchman, what is your favorite Aerosmith album? I mean, it's, I mean, for me, it's probably Toys in the Attic. But man, there's a lot of things that could be said about a lot of these albums from, the first Aerosmith album. I mean, you've got "Dream On" there, "Mama Ken," "Walking the Dog." I mean, that's a great album, but it's not my favorite. "Get Your Wings" was a great album. I like, yeah, "Toys in the Attic." We'll get to that. Looking at the songs on "Get Your Wings," same old song and dance. That's one of my favorite songs. "Lord of Thigh Space," "Woman of the World," "SOS," "Train Kept a Rolling." They still play that all over the radio. "Seasons of Wither" is my all-time favorite Aerosmith song. I don't know what it is about that song. I love that song. And I'll talk about my concert experience with them in just a few minutes. And "Pandora's Box." That's a strong candidate. But when you get to "Toys," man, I mean, it's just they were riding the highway. I mean, the song "Toys in the Attic," Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple, "Walk This Way," big 10-inch record, "Sweet Emotion," "No More, No More," which is also one of my all-time favorite Aerosmith songs. And you don't hear that one as much. I'll take that song over a lot of songs. I'm telling you, "No More, No More," "Round and Round You See Me Crying." Toys is just an amazing album. Rocks, and they're, back in those days, they were releasing albums pretty quickly. This is a great album as well. "Back in the Saddle," "Last Child," "Rats in the Cellar." This thing has its candidacy too for top album. Toys is a perfect album, he says, in my opinion. Combination: "Sick as a Dog," "Nobody's Fault," "Get the Lead Out." Oh yeah, "Licking a Promise," "Home Tonight." A great album, absolutely. "Draw the Line," I had that one on cassette. I had all these albums at one time or another. "Draw the Line," "I Want to Know Why." "Critical Mass," I like that song. "Get It Up," "Bright Light Fright." "Kings and Queens," another one of my favorite songs. Heard that song today on satellite radio. "The Hand That Feeds," "Sight for Sore Eyes," "Milk Cow Blues." Again, I don't think that stands up against those other two albums. Oh, it looked like I froze a little bit. Hopefully, it's probably just my system. I think I was opening up too many pages. So give me just a second. If hopefully I'm not frozen for you, but then they, they just, man, they stayed on the road. They got into the drug side of it, and things started happening for them in a bad way. And it's just the way it goes. They 1979. That was really, things started falling apart around that time. No surprise, Chiquita, Remember Walking in the Sand, Cheesecake, 3 Mile Smile, Reefer Head Woman, Bone to Bone, Think About It, Mia. Do you like any of those songs? I'm not saying there's probably some stuff on there, but honestly, this was a bad time for Aerosmith. I mean, things were, some people like that album. It's okay, but honestly, no. And then in 82, Rockin' a Hard Place, Jailbait, Lightning Strikes, Brew, Bolivian Magamuffin, Crimea River, Prelude to Joni. But let's be honest, none of the stuff stands up to the previous stuff. Then you get to Done with Mirrors, which, Done with Mirrors had its place. I like some selections on there. But again, it just wasn't the deal. And then, then the whole MTV thing happens with Run DMC. So we get to this, you get to this 1, 2, 3, I'll say 3 album ride that they went on. And the first one was Permanent Vacation. Had this on album and as well as on cassette. I wore it out. One of my favorite songs to listen to even today is Heart's Done Time. Actually, this song is kind of hidden among a lot of great songs, and it stands up. I like Heart's Done Time. That's become one of my songs that I like to listen. It's in my playlist for Aerosmith. And actually, I have it in place of a lot of hits. I really like this song. I like the build up to it. I like some of the weird sounds that came out with that. Heart's Done Time, Magic Touch, Ragdoll. Just heard that yesterday on satellite. They had of course, the video. Samurai, Dude Looks Like a Lady. Killed it. Just killed it. These songs still hold up. St. John, Hangman's Jury, I like that one. Girls Keeps Coming Apart. Angel, ballad, great ballad. Permanent Vacation, another good song. I'm Down, the Beatles cover, and the movie. Some of these you may not know. That came in at 51 minutes, by the way. But just because it's got Heart's Done Time, even if I didn't have anything else, I listen to this album because I like it. And that really set they got their mojo back. They got the good album. They're working with good producers, and then you get Pump, and Pump was the game changer. Pump put them back on a map in a way that they were never going to fall from again, and a massive, massive album for only 47 minutes. But Bruce Fairbairn produced again on this one under the Geffen label, and you get all the hits. Loving an Elevator. Janie's Got a Gun, one of my all-time favorites. That song moves me every time I hear that song. It's like Changes with Tesla. That song moves me. What It Takes, The Other Side. I mean, yeah, is it slicked up a little bit? Yeah, they were getting a little more production. It wasn't as bluesy, some of this stuff. But you're talking about radio-friendly songs. I've heard this story, dude. I don't remember now what I heard. If you want to pop that in there. I know that, but as you asked that, I can't remember now what they said about it. But wow, man, they just, I mean, this song, just because of the strength of those songs, you didn't even have to hear anything else. Young Lust, Fine, Going Down, 11 Elevator, huge, obviously. Monkey on My Back, Water Song, Janie's Got a Gun, Dulcimer Stomp, I really like that. The Other Side, yes, My Girl, Don't Get Mad at Even, Hoodoo, Voodoo, Medicine Man, and of course, What It Takes. What can you say? And on the Japanese version, they throw in a couple of others. Deuces Are Wild, I like that. 11 Elevator Live and Ain't Enough. This album, or CD at that time, of course, it was released on all, I guess. But when this one, like I said, a lot of touring with this. This was a big, huge production. Mike Frazier on the mix. A lot of people names you would recognize. It went way up the charts. Uh, it went to number one in Australia albums, number two in Canada top albums. I mean, it was Billboard top five, UK top three. I mean, it just performed really really well, and people loved it. They really identified with it. It put them back on the map. You have to have the album before it to really do that, I think. But this one is still on. But because they already laid the groundwork from the thing with Run DMC, the previous album, Permanent Vacation, and this one, it was all over MTV. Vince Neil, yes, I do remember that. I couldn't remember when you asked that. But yeah, man, I mean, it's this was a hit maker. I mean, and MTV helped to drive it. And it will. There's songs on here that will be played as long as there is people playing songs. From Jenny's Got a Gun to Love an Elevator, all those songs are not going away, and they shouldn't. They're going to be played, and they rank among the best albums, top 300, top 100 in some list. But it's there's a little line here. They say that Brad Whitford said the album title with now that we're off drugs, we're all pumped up. So that's where they got that. But again, getting clean, they always had the talent, but just getting clean. And like I said, when I saw them, they didn't even allow beer sales. This was at the Atlanta, was that Starwood? Is that right? The amphitheater. But amazing. I mean, this nobody. I mean, from where they were to where they went to be back in a big way is amazing. And then you get a grip. I was a big fan of. It came in very long, a little over 62 minutes. That was 1993. This album, from my understanding, there was some controversies. The record label, I don't remember every little detail in and out, but I know that they were having trouble with getting some things written on the songwriting side, and the record company wanted to bring in some songwriters, and they won out. Steven Tyler pitched a fit. I mean, that's the artist in him. But and I'm not. They may have on the others, but this is the one I remember. It was a big controversy. He was just having a problem getting stuff enough down. This is a big album. I mean, 14 strong. Like I say, 62 minutes. But Desmond Child helped out with a song. But the Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw came in. Lenny Kravitz was involved, and so they got some help in there. There's a couple other people that helped out. Jenny, I bet. Yeah, and I'm not going to play it because I am on those streams. But I love this. Eat the Rich. They still play that a lot. I love this. I love the song. Get a Grip. Love it. Fever. Living on the Edge. I love that song. Shut Up and Dance. Pretty good. Crying. Of course, you got to get the Crazy. A really good album. They really changed after this album. They started doing a lot of other things. Steven Tyler was getting involved with those shows, and they kind of countryed up a little bit, I was at the show in Atlanta at the Omni. I've seen a lot of shows at Omni. Pump Tour, no alcohol, lots of mad people. And I'm guessing that it was the Pump Tour that I saw them on. I'm almost certain of that. I could be wrong because I know it was before this album. So it would have been Pump. So, but yeah, I didn't see them at the Omni, but I saw them at the amphitheater, and it was great. And then, like I said, 9 Lives, things started not going as well. And there's a couple things here that I like, but they really, it just didn't get it for me. I didn't buy this album at all. Judge Push Play, that was 97. And then the gap between the albums got longer. I didn't buy this album. I didn't buy the 2004 album. They were at Columbia now. And I didn't buy the 2012. No. And, now but that's when you go back and you look at the early days, Get Your Wings. Well, the first album, Aerosmith, Get Your Wings, Toys in the Attic Rocks, Draw the Line, Nine the Ruts. Maybe not Night of the Rose, maybe a little bit of that, but really after Rocks, it really went off the rails. I did have their box set too. That was a great box set. I think that was called Pandora's Box, and I don't think I still have it, but I had their box set when they came out with that. That was awesome too. And then they went off. They had some bad albums to me, and then they come back with Permanent Vacation, Pump, Get a Grip, and to me that's another triple thing release. Amazing. Then it kind of, and again, they'll never be what they were. Then they had the controversy. The drummer was sick, and they wouldn't let him play. And that got legal, and I think he's back. But then Steven Tyler's had his issues as well. So Tyler was cutting backflips across the stage. Amazing, yeah. I didn't say I saw it in there. I didn't mention it, but did you like that one? So when I saw them at Atlanta at the amphitheater, there were two things about it. Well, three things that stand out to this day. Number one was, yes, no beer sales. Now, back in that day, I would have still had probably a beer. I was dry. So just to be honest, I still drank a little bit after that, but I actually had a lot of respect for them that they didn't do it. And I went up and bought a Coke, and they were apologizing to people, and people were getting mad. And I said, I respect it. And I said, maybe it'll help some of these people, get home safe. So that was the first thing. You walked in, they had big signs, no beer, and they were selling everything else. But I think I bought I bought the program for that one. I don't remember buying a shirt. I could have, but I did buy the program. I'm really big. I was always buying the programs. A shirt if I could afford it. I have Honkin' on Bubble. It came with a mini harmonica. Okay. Number two thing about the show was I was really hoping, because I'm thinking they got all these hits. I was hoping of all the songs that I want to hear them play, I want to hear them play Seasons of Wither. If they can do that, I don't care if the rest of the show sucks, because I love that song so much. And they did. And I remember my wife, she liked Aerosmith, but I don't think she was familiar with that song. And it was like one of those moments my wife just knew to just watch and not talk. And she just didn't, she just held my hand, and I was like, oh, they're playing it. It was like, and it was a moment. The third thing about that show is, and I've always said this, I've been to a lot of shows that had a lot of great sound. That show had the best sound of any show I've ever been to. And it just, their musicianship was so good. They played so together. It was so clean. It wasn't over amplified. It wasn't under amplified. It was clean, but live. And just, it was coming at you hard and heavy. Don't get me wrong. But it almost sounded like they played the album. It was so clean. Me and people in the audience were going, wow. That's a great venue anyway. But, I've heard bad sound there. That was a great show. And we had a good time. I'm so glad I was able to see them. But they played all the hits. Yeah, Steven Tyler bouncing all over the place. In their heyday, like I said, they were healthy. They were clean. They were having fun. The voice was good. The playing was good. It was a taut sound, as always they had, and they played all the hits, man. They went back and got the old stuff, the new stuff, and it was a pretty long show. Of course, you got a curfew at that venue, so they're packing song after song after song. I could go back and look at, I'll have to look that up. You can go back and look at set lists. Let me see if I can, let's see what they did. We'll look at either one. Let's see. Let's see if we can get that set list. I love doing this. So the Omni one was on May 7th. The Pump Tour, 1990. So let's see if we can see the official. It should be right here. It's a good place to go. They have a good job. Okay, here we go. 1990. Way back when. They did 130. This was the set list that they were doing during that tour. I don't know if this was the official one because I'm just looking on the fly. But for 1990, the set list for most of the shows was this Young Love's Fine, Monkey on My Back. Um, let's see, Mama Ken, Permanent Vacation, Jenny's Got a Gun, Don't Get Mad, Get Even, What It Takes, Voodoo Medicine Man. So it's a good eclectic mix on this. Train Kept Rolling, of course. Red House, Back in the Saddle, Draw the Line, Ragdoll, Sweet Emotion, Peter Gunn, the cover, Dude Looks Like a Lady, Encore, Dream On, Love an Elevator, Walk This Way. That was mainly the set list. They did, most bands don't deviate too much, but if they did, it was a song or two. But that was your set list, man, for that show. That's pretty. That's 20 songs, man. That's 20 songs. That's what they were doing. So this is what we heard in 1990. I would tell you, it's cool. I was one of the shows I saw, and going back to Leopard, one of the shows I saw there was a really good show. And I went back and I actually found the audio for the show. Sometimes you can get that. I don't know if it was their official audio. It was a really clean audio. And I was like, wow, I was playing it for a friend of mine. I pulled it up on my computer. I went, this was the show I heard. It was pretty cool. I think there was even video to it, but I was listening to the audio of that show. So, yeah, man, I mean, what a great time. And, it's like I said, age takes over everybody. You're not going to get back into, where it used to be or anything like that. It is what it is. But that's a great band. Now listen, there are things I don't like. I don't like. And then, some of the stuff they did out, like they're having at times they've ventured out and did, songs on their own and other things. And some of that I've liked, some of it I hadn't. Joe Perry's done a lot. I mean, he's got that Hollywood Vampires thing he does. He's done a lot. He's looking a little rough, man. I gotta be honest. I don't like the whole. He had that fallout at a show, but they're getting older. Brad Whitford's went through his health problems. Joey Kramer. Brad Whitford doesn't get enough credit that he deserves for what he's played. But this is one of the few bands that you still have. Right now they can't do nothing because of the voice, but this band is still the original band. Now that's rare. And especially as long as they've been around, there were gaps in there again where some of them weren't there. But because, some of the guys left and then they brought in those other people. But, Steven Tyler's been there the whole time. Tom Hamilton has been there the whole time. Those two have been there the whole time. There was a 3-year gap for some, was 1 5-year where they weren't there, and one was all the way but didn't tour the 2020. That was Joey Kramer with the health issue. He wasn't allowed to. He wasn't happy about it, but he's always been there. Health kept him out of that one tour. But the guitarist left. I mean, I don't remember who those other guys were. I guess that was Jimmy Crespo and Ray Tabano and Rick Duffy. Those are the guys that slid in there. Ray was way early. He come in. It was Jimmy and Rick that came in when Brad and Joe Perry left. And that they were bad. I mean, they were so bad on drugs at that time. The shows were bad. I mean, people just wouldn't come see them. It got so bad. Do I know where they got walked this way from? Again, I've heard it. I don't remember. So you feel free to drop it in there, pump it in there. We'll use a little turn of phrase here. But yeah, I don't remember. You had a chance to buy an amp head from Brad Whitford, a PV5150, but I already own one. Okay. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. And listen, Joe Perry's legend, but I'm not saying among artists he doesn't, but if you were to ask people that like Aerosmith, they're going to remember Joe Perry every time. They're not always going to remember Brad Whitford. Some people, some nominal fans, they wouldn't know Joe Perry. They wouldn't know Brad. He didn't get all the credit he deserves. They said they wrote it after watching Young I did hear that. After watching Young Frankenstein, the part where Igor says, walk this way. Okay. I think I heard that on like satellite radio or something. Those little bites they do in the middle of the songs, or some of the guys are talking. It was pretty cool. I heard a cool one today. It isn't about Aerosmith, but I shared it with a friend today. I was listening to one of those little sound bites on Air Nation. And I can't remember the guy that was sharing. Oh, it was Jack Blades. He was doing a spot. And he was talking about, they were on tour with Sammy Hagar on the 3 Lot Box tour. and they were staying in a dumpy hotel because they hadn't really hit it yet. And no money, so there's in a dumpy hotel, and he's reading a rock magazine or some kind of magazine, and they were saying that rock is dead, and that's where he got the idea to rock in America, and pretty cool story. So he shared that about his own. So good, great song. But yeah, Aerosmith. They Stephen, again, when I go back, the early stuff with him and that young girl, bad, bad, bad. And that didn't really get talked about until these latter years because of all the talk about, the problems we've had. But he got, and I don't want to get sued here, but she was underage. Am I correct on this, Watchman? And he got her. I mean, didn't he like, God, what is it? He like got custody of her or something? I mean, like, I don't know. There's some stuff there. And he can be pretty vile sometimes in what he says. I've seen some backstage stuff that I don't really care for. Again, I'm not putting your boy down. If people like Steven Tyler, I'm not here to put him down. Everybody's got something, and for him, there's a couple things. Yeah, Tyler. I just sometimes, but amazing performer. Now that's another one people say is ugly. He's ugly. He's uglier than Tom Petty. I mean, I don't like talking about people being ugly, but if you were going to say that, would you say Tyler is, but people like that kind. I mean, he's, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Character issue, big time. But talent, yes. Like a lot of songs, yes. Character, no. For me, I'm not going to put it off there. You can look it up. Go look it up. And if you don't know already, and look it up, and it's seedy, man. I don't. I'll leave that where it lays. I don't like that. He really is as ugly as Homemade Sin, for real, for real. Yeah, he's, and then he has this daughter that he doesn't know he has for a long time, and then they reconnect, and oh boy, the rock and roll lifestyle, I'll imagine he came out of that time frame, that 70s, and that there was so much going on, man. So much going on in the backstories for a lot of these bands. It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, it always has been, but boy, during that time, they were all laying the lines out. We'll say that. Big time. I mean, that was become the thing. Fleetwood Mac talks about it. So many bands were just, I mean, it's amazing they could play, but I'm a fan, and I'll always be a fan. Glad I got to see them in concert. I think it was just me and my wife. I don't know why Cook didn't go. I have to ask him about his memories of that. Maybe he was there, but I don't think he was. I think I just bought me and my wife a ticket, and we went. And she's always liked a lot of their songs. And she enjoyed that. We used to go, me and my wife went to a lot of shows together. I think the first group that me and my wife ever saw together as husband and wife, I think this was after we were dating. It could have been while we were dating, but anyway, right around that time, we saw Daryl Hall and John Oates. It was a really good song. Until Tuesday opened up for him. Till Tuesday, and then Hall and Oates, and then it wasn't long after that we saw ZZ, and we used to go. I was a big fan of Hall and Oates, and that was a great show, by the way. Great show, great band, great backing. Their band was really tight too. I was in Chattanooga. We saw Bon Jovi at the arena there in Chattanooga. Hello, Purple Princess. Bless you tonight, and I hope you're doing well on Podbean side. But yeah, Aerosmith is a group that my granddaughter, one of them, she's be 14 this year. She sees the albums in my hand. And for those that wasn't looking earlier, I always do 3 albums from the vault. And mine tonight were Foreigner, Double Vision. You might have come in late. Of course, on audio, you're not going to see them anyway, as I show them on the screen. But Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and of course, Aerosmith Greatest Hits. She sees these albums in my hand as I'm headed to the studio. And she says, "Is that some of your 1800s music?" It's like, will you be quiet? I mean, will you just be quiet? I said, they're still around. she she does not like my my music. I mean, she's not supposed to, right? And she's pretty level about music. I try to let her, I wouldn't let her listen to anything that's really bad or anything. There's no rap plays in my house. There's no rap. If I ever find her, she'll lose her phone if she ever listens to something like that. She's into pop and some country, and she likes some gospel, of course. But kids today, I mean, they follow a lot of these groups, but like a lot of the young girls, they like what's the guy, the country singer, Aldine, and there's people like that they listen to. But obviously they go through their phases where they like different pop artists, and so that's kind of where she's at. A lot of pop artists, but she sometimes if I put it on the radio, something on classic or something, she'll tell the other people, said Grandpa's listening to. She calls me Papa, but she'll say, she makes this big to do. Grandpa's listening to his old man music, That's right. It's real music, not AI loops and auto tune jibbery jabber. Yeah, I mean, you get what you get, and sometimes on those albums they were little mistakes. They left them in. I love that. I like it when you hear a little backfeed in a song. Sometimes I like that. Even studio stuff. Sometimes they left that in, but certainly on live albums, I love that kind of stuff. It just makes it more real. I like to hear a little bit. Now you don't want it tons, but a little bit of mistake, a little bit of a note here. I just let you know it was live, that they were really playing the music, and I love that. But they had clean sound that night. I'm glad I didn't see them on the bad tours, but I got my money's worth and then some that night, and clear headed, no booze, no nothing, and I'm glad of that. I don't drink. I hadn't drank in 30 years, but at that time, I mean, we're going back almost 40 years. I mean, there was, I was a young guy and I dabbled a little bit at shows. But yeah, my wife never did. She didn't do that. She's never a drinker, but we would go and watch these groups, and we saw so many groups. I'm glad we have that time, because I don't know that we're ever going to be able to do it again, really, even go see anybody. And I'm glad that me and my wife were able to go and see all these groups and stuff. Sometimes I went on my own, or I went with friends. Sometimes she wasn't interested in going because she was never into heavy stuff. But she has a wide range of musical taste as well. I know what she likes. Like, I can play. And next week I am going to show something that's not rock. I just decided to pull, but I'm going to pull a country, because there is that country side of me. I grew up with country, southern rock, and all that. So, and went through the disco age, and yes, there's some of that in Dave's Vault. Not a lot, but a little bit. So as I continue to show these albums each week, you'll be able to see some of that. Watchman says I had a bass that I had a boss, excuse me, my eyesight. Sometimes I'm dyslexic or something. I had a boss that had a son that was deep into rap and had me take to see AC/DC Razor's Edge tour. When we got out, he had a goofy grin and said, I didn't know. I found out he was converted that night. Oh, yeah. I never saw them in concert. That's one of the ones I missed. And I wish I could have seen Bond. But I will tell you, I guess, for as far as seeing a concert, I guess that Paris show that they did the documentary about and put out there, I guess I would have to count that, because that's really the one that I watched that thing so much. But yeah, I was a big fan still of them. But yeah, goofy stuff. Again, I'm not going to put down what people listen to. That's their business. As we all have tastes. We all have things we like and we don't like. And I'm not here to tell people, because listen, I like, I fought against a lot of the changes that were happening for a lot of the classic rock. When the so-called grunge movement came in. But I would tell you, a lot of that music was really good too. I mean, and some of it wasn't even considered grunge. It all got looped into that. They put it in the same box, but really, I mean, man, there was some great music come out of Seattle. Some of those bands weren't even Seattle; they just got looped there, because of what was going on. But and some of the bands I didn't care for, I took a little deeper listen to later. Found some stuff that I liked. Some of it I never liked. I won't lie, but Candlebox, I really like some of their stuff. I cannot believe that I still saw one of the last rock concerts I ever saw was Candlebox opening for Metallica. Can you imagine that? They're coming to North Carolina. Yeah, they're going to be doing that tour. This is the best rock band to see live. Period. They bring it. They've always brought it. You know, there's no putting on the makeup and stuff for them backstage. It's jeans, t-shirt, and go play. I mean, well, they might have a beer. I'm sure they do that, but you know, and I'm glad that they've been able to get and keep around a lot of the folks. I mean, I know they don't have the original. Well, he's not even the original, but the longtime drummer. But they have, of course, Malcolm's gone, sadly, but Stevie's been there for so long. I mean, it's like he's always been, and he does a great job. The bass player, um, and hey, Dean Potts came in. Dean Potts, were you an Aerosmith fan?
Yes, I was.
Favorite Aerosmith song, if you could think about it?
I can't think right from my head.
Did you like the older Aerosmith or the newer Aerosmith more? You probably like the newer, I bet.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah. Jenny's Got a Gun,
Yes.
Ragdoll, Dude Looks Like a Lady. I bet you
Yes,
saw
yes.
it. Yeah.
Dude looks like a lady.
Cliff, the bass player, lives in North Carolina. Cool. He retired. They were talking about ACDC here. He retired and came back, and but you can't blame the guy, man. They've been bouncing around stages for a long time, and they play a really intense show. So, it's a workout, but he's the backbeat for ACDC was always solid. Malcolm made sure of that. They were tight back there. And then, that left Angus to run around and do whatever he wanted to do. And then, of course, Bond, he plays the crowd. I mean, they got it all, man. And they got one of the best closing songs ever. For those about to rock, we salute you. I mean, how can you close any better when you got cannons going off? I mean, it's great. Were you AC/DC fan there, Dean? Did you like them in the day?
Some of their songs I did.
Some of them.
Yeah.
I knocked my water over. But yeah, I was talking about. I don't know, Dean, if you saw the first part. Was you a fan of Tom Petty? You like Tom Petty?
Off and on.
Not really. Is he an ugly dude or a pretty dude?
Ugly.
Was you a fan of Foreigner? Was you a fan of Foreigner?
Yes.
Some of their songs,
Foreigner, yes.
classic. I play them on the radio all the time.
Yes.
And of course, I got Aerosmith Greatest Hits. Let's say Phil Rudd. His timing is great. I mean, I'm a big fan of Phil Rudd. When he left, I thought the band wasn't the same. Many say they can do that, but they can't. He is great at the timing, the way he slaps. If you go back to that concert, the Paris show that they recorded, I think that's the one I'm thinking about. When they do, what is the song? Walk All Over You. I think that's the name of the song. That early part where it comes in and the drumming intensifies and through that. You've got little rolls, and then he stops and he comes back. They put the camera right beside him, and that was perfect. He was so young there and just did a great job. He had a lot of problems later, got into drugs, meth, got in trouble, big trouble. He lives in New Zealand, I think, still. He probably lost every tooth in his mouth at one time. But he's healthy today. I don't know why he's not playing with them. I don't think he was happy about that. But yes, that's man. I love Bon in that. He's playing around the snow. They ask him a lot of stuff. That was one of the better early movie type things they did with music, and it still holds up to this day to me. I like that. But that was right before he died, right? I mean, I think that was 80, right? Like, I think that's right. They did that show, and it wasn't long after that he died. Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. Phil driving that Porsche on ice and picked up Bond. He sits on the top, a little bit and slides off. That, just guys having some fun with some very nice cars. Phil was always he has a lot of sports cars. He's probably got a museum collection of sports cars. And lives in New Zealand.
Who was that? Phil Collins?
No, Phil Rudd, the drummer for AC/DC for so long.
Oh, okay.
But I like Phil Collins. Who's your favorite group of all time, Dean? Who do you like? I mean,
I like the Cars.
The Car. Yeah, you told me that. It's a good
Hard,
group. I remember going to this bar once in Chattanooga, and it's kind of like a college hangout. And I took my wife there. We might have been dating then. I don't think we were married yet. And we went in, and there was a Cars top cover band playing. The guy playing Rick Ocasek looked just like him, and they did a good job. And I was enjoying the show, but I had some college idiots that were in front of me drunk, and they kept slamming into my table, and beers getting knocked over. They got beer on my wife. I got into it with a guy, and we finally decided to get out. It's when you find out, even though you're still pretty young, you find out that you're way more mature than some idiots from college out in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I feel like I should be their, I was like their dad or something. Like, I can't handle this. The respect was not there. They were acting like idiots. They didn't care. The bouncers got onto them, but it just kept on being a problem. And I was like, let's just get out of here. It kind of ruined it for me. But I did get to hear maybe 4 or 5 songs of them play. I don't remember their name. It's a cover band, but they were playing all Cars music. It was pretty cool. I like Benjamin Orr is a good player. I like Benjamin Orr, and sad these guys all dying, man. I mean, we're getting old, man.
What about Hard and Oates?
Phil's wife is dealing with cancer. That's why he couldn't play on tour, but he did play on the last album. It's a good album, Power Up. Yes, I didn't know that about his wife, and I didn't know that. I thought that he was disappointed he couldn't play, but I guess I'm wrong. Most of the time, you should check that song out. Different for ACDs. Okay, but yeah, Hall and Oates, big fan. I was telling the listeners earlier, I saw them on tour. Till Tuesday opened up for them in Chattanooga. Great concert. I mean, every song's a hit.
Oh, it is.
They're one of those bands. Every song that they played that night was on the radio, all the way back to this, the '70s stuff, Sarah Smiles and all that great. I mean, it was like, it was just the greatest hits album. They didn't play a song I didn't know. I was a fan anyway. This was the Out of Time, I think, tour, because that was a big album for them. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I hate that they split up.
I do too.
They just come to find out they were never really that much of friends. It was just a business relationship. That happens with bands and groups and duos.
I like
it's all about it's all about working together, because that it works. It sells.
I like the Oak Ridge Boys. That was a good group.
Only a little bit Nazareth, only a little bit Watchmen. I wasn't never a huge fan. I'm not putting them down. I just never was into. I just never did. I never bought an album of theirs or a CD or a cassette. I never really listened to the band, and so the one song that I do like is a song, that's got the word in there. We listened to it early on when we were young, because we thought that, oh man, they're cussing. Are you a fan, Watchman? Solid band. I'm not putting them down. I just never was a fan. That was not one of my gigs. What about country side there, Dean? Who'd you like in country?
Alabama.
I was working as they called them, bag boy back in those days, around 1980, 81, when the big album come out for them.
Yes.
And there was that little game place. You could play video games there in Fort Oglethorpe, Dean. And that they would play, that jukebox was filled with Alabama music. And I bet, what was that song, some of those songs? That Old Flame, was that one of them? Yes. I bet I heard that 1,000 times at that game shop.
Tennessee River.
Tennessee River, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to pull that up. We'll have to cover Alabama, because they're right here close.
Right.
The only problem I have with Alabama is this. I don't like the way, and they said he was always a hard gun, but I don't like the way they treated the drummer.
I didn't either. No.
He played with you for 25 years.
Yes.
Maybe on paperwork he was never a partner, but you know what? The fans looked at him as a member of that band. I don't like the way they treated him. He wrote a book. I need to get that book. He wrote about a book about his time But I don't like the way they treated him. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. Some people don't like one of the members. I don't remember which one of the three. Some people don't. Some people say one of them has an ego. I don't know. I didn't know them. I never
I
met
didn't
them.
either.
But they wrote great music.
Oh yes.
They owned the country music charts for a long
Yeah,
time.
they did. Yeah.
40-hour work week, wasn't that one of them?
Yes. 40-hour week. Yes.
What was that
Roll
one
on-
about?
roll
Get
on
on down. What's the
roll
one about
on
the
18
18-wheelers?
Yes.
What was that? What was the name of that song?
Roll on 18-wheeler.
Roll on 18-wheeler. That's a good song.
Yeah,
That's a good song. They definitely had a good sound.
they did.
Wrote great songs. I mean, they were very talented. And from Fort Payne, right? Was they from Fort Payne?
Yeah, Fort Payne. Yeah.
They used to have their museum right there in Trenton, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
It's been long gone. I never went in there, but they did have it. But I was a big fan of
I
Alabama.
was too.
Like I say, I liked a lot of.
I like
country.
Reba.
You like Reba?
Yes.
What's your Reba song, man?
Fancy.
It's okay. I think if I could just listen to it and not see her while she's singing it, some people don't like the way she moves her mouth. Maybe we're being too critical. I'm just telling you what friends of mine have said. They can't stand the way her mouth does when she sings.
Well, she's
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
woman.
She is a pretty woman. They liked her as an actress, but not as a singer. But I liked Reba. I liked Reba. I like Reba. I say
How about Barbara
like.
Mandrell?
Big fan. Big
Yes.
fan. Barbara Mandrell. Absolutely. I'm a bigger fan of Barbara Mandrell than Reba.
How about Christian Gale?
A fan, but not, some of her stuff was okay. I mean, it was good. What was Blue Eyes she sung? It was
Yes.
that was a big hit for her. She's good. I didn't know a lot of. I didn't buy it really. I don't think I ever bought an album from her. I bought collections that she was on, and I liked some of that. I liked some of her stuff. I mean, she was always all around. Back in the day. So yeah, good. I'm a fan. Just not a huge fan, but a fan. So I was, I was a big fan of. When I go way back, I mean, you go back in the day. I go back to George Jones and people like
Yes.
that. Big fan of their music, but you come forward a little bit, like I said, Alabama. You get a
Yeah.
little bit more forward. Travis Tritt,
Yes.
big fan of that. I like a lot of those artists that came out. There were so many. I mean, I came along like I was into country music when I was because my dad listened to country music, and my mom did. So Merle Haggard was a big.
Yes.
My mom liked Merle Haggard. But so you had all those people, Conway Twitty, all those, and then country was suffering a little bit too there at one time. It wasn't really going well, and then you had some people come along that really just kicked it in gear again.
Oh
Kenny
yeah.
McBride, Garth Brooks. I mean, we could say a lot of people. Aaron Tippin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sitting here bringing, but yeah, Robin Trower. I do listen to some Robin Trower Watchman. Yeah. He's really good. You Love Nazareth, Miss Mary, Beggar's Day, Don't Judas Me. In my band, Hemlock, we covered Hair of the Dog. I bet you did. That's the only song that's the only song I probably knew by them. I think one more. I was Kansas. I was a pretty big fan of Kansas, back then. Dust in the Wind, baby. So did you ever see a country artist in concert, Dean?
Yeah, we were to see Alabama at Riverbend.
Alabama. I didn't see them. I saw Willie Nelson at Riverbend. I'm a big Willie Nelson fan. Did you ever see any of them at the Jukebox Junction at Lake Winnie, Dean? For
Yeah,
those that don't know, we have a little amusement park here, Lake
Yeah,
Winnepesaukah. Lake
me
Winnie
and
is
Mom went to
around here.
see a Billy. I want to say Billy Joe Royal.
Yeah, he played there a lot. A lot of the up and comers or those that were over the hill, they would go. They was able to get them to that stage. I saw what's Johnny Cash's daughter, Roseanne.
Roseanne.
Was it Rose? Yeah, Roseanne Cash. I saw there, and I saw a handful. I can't remember them all, but some of them played them all the time, But yeah, David Allen Coe, yes. Billy Joe
Yes.
Shaver, yes. Hank Senior, yes. My favorite country artist. and Hank Jr. I never saw
What,
Hank Jr. in concert.
what about Leanne Rhymes?
I can take her or leave her. I'm not a huge fan. Okay,
Maybe like
listen,
The Dixie Chicks, huh?
I can't stand them. No, they had some songs that I thought were good,
I do
but
too.
boy, they just ugly the way they acted about. Anyway, I'll let
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Dixie Chicks at all. They had one or two songs that I thought were really good. I just never followed them. I just wasn't a fan. Was not a fan. Was you a fan of the Dixie Chicks?
No,
Okay, I thought
no.
you were throwing that. I thought you were gigging me a little bit and just throwing that out there.
I don't ever gig you. I never have gigged you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Come on, man. I saw Travis Tritt and Marty Stewart on their big tour. Wasn't that the No Hats tour? I
Yeah,
think that's what it was called. I saw them. Yeah, that was a good show. Good show. They were really good together. I didn't get to go to a lot of country shows. We just didn't go to concerts then. And later I was going to all these rock shows. But big fan of a lot of groups. I probably like solo artists more than I like groups as far as country. Some of the groups, okay, I can take them or leave them. But Alabama would be the exception.
yeah.
But I was really into Southern rock, Black Oak, Arkansas, Leonard Skinner,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Atlanta Rhythm Section back in the day. I liked Atlanta Rhythm Section.
What about Chicago? I can't talk tonight.
I like Chicago. I don't like everything they ever did,
Right.
but I'm a big fan of what was his name, Terry Kath, the guitar player, and that unfortunately passed. But there's some songs that I like. I like their older stuff when they got really soapy,
Right.
crooning,
Yeah.
bubblegum rock ballad. There was a couple of songs that was okay, but I was a fan of the older stuff.
I was too.
And later on, they put out some stuff I thought was pretty good. Watchman says that country artist Brantley Gilbert that played TPUSA halftime show is from Jefferson, Georgia. I have a pastor friend from Jefferson near me. He shot a video at the river down the road from me. A guy I jammed with was in the video. Well, that's a neat tie-in.
Yeah.
That's a neat tie-in. A lot of people like Brantley. I think country's going through a resurgence again.
It is.
People, that whole bro kind of stuff. It's still there, but there's a lot of the more original.
Right.
They're a little bit, not exact or nothing. I mean, but you're seeing a lot of that come through again, and I think that's good for country music.
It is.
Was you a fan of Brooks and Dunn?
Yeah. Yes.
Boot, Scoot, and Boogie?
Yes. Yes.
I kind of figured you was. I was never a big fan. Oh man, you asked me that. I can't remember right now. It's been a few years since I've seen him, but he pastors a Baptist church down there. He'd been there a long time. I don't even know if he's still living, to be honest. He could be. I don't know. But yeah, I like a lot of country, but I like the classic country more.
I do too.
There's some stuff in the 80s and 90s that is good, but I'm classic guy. I like that oldie station here in town.
Well, what about Don Williams?
I liked a lot of Don Williams.
I do too.
I used to have, I think I had an album of his. It might have been a CD, and it was Don Williams' greatest hits, I think. Man, not a bad song on there. Not a bad song at all. So, great stuff. John Anderson's great too. Rest in peace, John. Yes.
Yes.
Some of these guys, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about some of those who sung Colin, what, Rose-Colored Glasses? Wasn't that one? Who was that song?
John Conley.
John Conley, yeah. I liked him.
I do too.
I like that song. A big fan. I was a big fan of the Oak Ridge Boys.
I was too.
In fact, if you put Alabama and Oak Ridge Boys together, it's close. I like the Oak Ridge Boys.
I like
Even though one of the singers is from Philly.
Oh Oh, Elvira was the best song Oak Ridge Boys sung.
Oh man, they hit gold with that. So you said you can sing just like John Anderson, but you do it in a rock kind of way. That's cool. Oh, hey there, Silver Talon. Over Rumble Side. Thanks for popping in with your message there. Yeah, I love music, man. I've always loved music. My mom loved music. My dad liked it, but he didn't have a great love of it. He just listened. He'd listen to it as more of a background kind of thing. Here and there, he would. My dad he was a big fan of what was that song about coal, 16 tons or something. He always liked it. My dad was a big fan of Marty Robbins. I will say that.
Yes.
And I like Marty Robbins.
I do too.
And he liked Loretta Lynn and stuff like that, and I did too. But my mom, her musical taste was all over the place. All over the place. My mom introduced me to Motown, as well as she was not. My mom was more of a pop, because she was a huge Elvis fan. So she grew up liking that. I don't remember her not like disliking country, but she wasn't a fan. She listened to Motown. She listened to Elvis. She listened to a lot of pop stuff. Like she would have, my mom would have loved Bee Gees, or she would have loved.
Yes.
I will say this: she would have liked Crystal Gale, the Mandrell. She used to watch the Mandrell Sisters show.
Oh yes.
She liked their stuff. Alabama, yeah, but
I know you like the Village People.
YMCA, baby.
I knew you would.
I used to do it as a joke. People were like, "Dude, you look just like him." Oh, you sound just like him. I said, "Look, you don't look like him."
I like 50s and 60s rock and roll too.
There's some good stuff back in the 60s. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of the people that were trying to write music all about the Vietnam War and none of that. I just like a lot of I get back because I grew up at a great time for music. So I was I was born in 65. So, when I was little, I didn't hear any of that. My first song that I remember liking was B.J. Thomas, Raindrops Keep Falling on Your Head.
Yes.
I was a big fan. But the early 70s, I became a big fan of what I call the piano type songwriter music. So there were all these great, I love to go to that channel on satellite radio, and every song almost I have memory of. And they were groups that didn't have a lot of hits. They had that one hit wonder kind of thing going on. Yes. Maybe 2 songs, but there were so many of them. I was a big fan of Bread back in the day. Like, I love that kind of stuff. People think that I rock all the time. When I was listening to music, no, it's not true. I was a big fan, and still am, of a lot of that, what I call piano music.
What about Elton John?
Big fan. I don't like his lifestyle.
Me either.
At all.
But I like his singing.
But his talent, I'm a big fan of the guitar player in the Elton John band. I can't think of his name. He's from Australia, I think. And Davy Johnson, is that his name? What happened out watching with?
Yes.
Yes, I liked Molly Hatchet, liked Hendrix. I think I had everything Hendrix ever released and re-released, and they released later. We used to listen to Hendrix a lot, me and my best friend. Lot. Molly Hatchet, yeah. Big fan. Yeah. Meatloaf. I liked Meatloaf back in the day.
Oh, I meant to tell you, Kyle Busch got the pole.
Kyle Busch got the pole. How about that? We didn't even give him no talk tonight.
That's right.
So, who was second? Do you remember?
Chase Briscoe.
Briscoe's bringing it, man. He's bringing it. Speed, man.
When I come in, I put it over there, and I saw Chase Elliott got the pole. Then he lost it. Then I saw Kyle Busch got the pole.
Better watch old Kyle. He's coming with a vengeance.
You're right.
Yeah, Watchman, a little fog hat, never hurt anybody. Definitely.
But you know what they say, 20 years in the making.
20 years in the making. How about Allman Brothers? You like the Allman Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, Allman Brothers, cool. A lot of great history there from Macon, Georgia.
Oh, yes.
I liked them. I'm not gonna say I liked everything, but I liked a lot of the Allman Brothers. Like I said, growing up, there were so many great bands.
Did you remember the Rolling Stones?
I do like some Rolling Stones. Um, I even liked Mick Jagger's one of his solo albums. I bought it. It was a really good album. Um, I'm not gonna say I like everything the Stones ever put out, but I do like them. There's songs that come on the radio. I'll turn. It's not I don't like it. I'm just wore out with it. I'm not that big. I'm not a huge fan.
What about Four Seasons?
Oh yeah, big. I like them. Oh yeah, great stuff. Yeah, I like. I came out of the 70s where everything was like the 4 piece or the 5 piece band. I mean the
Yeah.
Jackson Five.
Yes.
The OJ's.
Yes.
You could go on and on. I mean, I like all that stuff. The Temptations.
Yes.
One of my favorite songs is oh man, what it's Rolling Stone. Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite Motown songs of all time. And Backstabbers. Man, I love that song, man. Man, you could jam that thing for 30 minutes and I would listen the whole time. I love it. Favorite Hendrix song? Man, that's tough. It's not one of the hits. I mean, I do like Purple Haze and but I don't know that I could even name the album. We bought a lot of stuff. Some of it was my friends, some of it was mine. We found stuff in the tape bin and we'd buy everything we could get our hands on. So I don't know if I could say the album because it might be an album that was released later or CD or excuse me tape, but it's really hard. I was trying to think. I guess it would be man. What's the song where the guy like talking about killing somebody? Man, I love that song. The Spinners was great. It was my first record I bought. 45 of Working My Way Back to You, babe. The Spinners were awesome.
Oh yeah.
I just went again growing up at that time. I loved those bands that had all the moves as they would sing and they would dance and move and play. You got a little funk in there. You got some soul. You got a little bit of everything. And I was Bold as Love is my favorite album song. Okay.
What about Buddy Holly?
And again, I never really followed. I know a couple songs. I wouldn't call myself a fan. I'm not a hater. I just don't. I'm not a big fan. It's just what my mom probably was. If I think back, I think so. I think she was. I just didn't really. What was the guy? La Bamba. What was that guy? Richie Valens.
Richie Valens.
I wasn't a fan of his. A couple songs. Hey Joe. Yes, that's it. That's my favorite song, Watchman. Hey Joe. That song is haunting.
Yeah, it is.
That's a wow. That's a wow moment for me.
Yeah, it is.
That's one of those when I put it in, I just have to close my eyes and listen to it. That's a great song. But there's some others, but that's the one I would throw up there.
I like Kenny Rogers.
I liked Kenny Rogers. He did a lot of stuff. He was in rock, before he became country.
Yeah.
He was in a group. I can't remember their name right now, but it was some good stuff. But he killed it, man. His duets.
Oh yeah.
Big hits. Big hits. So yeah, I was a fan.
Him and Dolly was the best.
Well, yeah, they did a lot of stuff together. But you know who wrote one of their biggest songs was not them, Islands in the Stream. That was written by the Bee Gees.
I didn't know that.
Castles Made of Sand is masterpiece too, and Little Wing. Truth, man. Truth. That was great stuff. I like some of the stuff where it's really more like he wasn't really playing really aggressive. It was more just bluesy stuff and some of the stuff you never heard on the radio. That was some of my favorite stuff by him. It might be bad that in the condition I was in listening to some of it, so that might influence it some. Just being honest. Not gonna lie. That was a long time ago. young men.
Oh yeah.
Discovering things and listening. I'm going to bring out, I brought out last time the album that me and my friend, I wish I had all of them, but I do have a few more that I have. I do have some older stuff that we bought together, and there's some eclectic stuff in there. Kenny Rogers used to live over the road from me. He had a ranch.
Oh, son.
Yeah, he was a pretty good actor. Not great,
was.
but pretty good. I like Six Pack, the NASCAR
Oh yeah, that's
movie.
the best.
That's a funny movie, man.
Yeah, it was.
And I love that song in it. Love will
yeah.
turn you around. That was a good.
You know me, I love that movie.
Oh yeah, that kid. He cusses. He keeps having to correct him. Because
yeah.
he cusses like a sailor. But they're ripping off parts to keep their stuff going, and oh my gosh, that was a great little movie.
It was.
I don't know if it ever made any money, but I watched that just here a few months ago. I thought about it and I pulled it up and watched it. I love great support actors in that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was a big fan. As far as racing movies go, that was probably one of my favorites, man.
I like Days of Thunder.
Yeah, I never really got into it. I just a little bit, but not much. So, well, I better get off here because speaking of Days of Thunder, I got to get some sleep because I got to be up early. So, Room Full of Mirrors, Machine Gun. Remember, it was if 6 was 9. So many good Henry Steves. Yeah, he was legend. He'll always be remembered. He broke the mold, man. He was the. I mean, when you think of influential, and I get there's a long list, but when you think of those that are off the top of your head that influenced millions of guitar players, Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
There's others you could put, but those two, it wasn't Paul Stanley. Nothing against Paul Stanley. Even Ace was not that influential, I mean, come on. He did influence a lot, but those were two that, and again, Stevie Ray Vaughan, another one. I was a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. Still am. So, anyway, did you like any disco, Dean, before I go? Any disco music?
Yeah.
How about you listen to Disco Duck?
I liked it. Yeah, that I liked.
You like the Bee Gees?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
ABBA.
ABBA.
Yes.
They had a lot of hits, man.
Yeah, they did.
Dancing Queen.
Yeah, oh, God, no.
Did you like Michael Jackson?
Yes, I did.
So I'm not talking about. I don't know whether things happen or not, but he says I have a giant painting of Hendrix painted by Al Green over my fireplace. Wow.
You
don't take a picture of that, dude.
The only one that
We'll have to post that to the next music show because I do got to go. What, Dean?
Michael Jackson, the best one I liked was Thriller.
Well, that was an amazing album. It was the only thing that kept hysteria off the top, man. Because
That's right.
That album was a hit maker as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, the album before that was my favorite Michael Jackson album. That was before. I mean, nothing against Thriller. It's an amazing album, but I like the album before it. So that's a tragic story. A tragic story. Their daddy was a mean dude.
Oh yeah.
They had no choice but to play.
They didn't.
He's just a mean dude. Joe Jackson. That dude was mean.
Oh yeah.
I have no doubt that he smacked those kids around.
Oh, I know.
He made them do that. I mean, he made them stars, but he was abusive. It was like, what was the? Because I like some, not all, Tina Turner.
Yeah, Tina Turner.
But her Ike Turner, he's another abuser. Thriller, the only thing that keeps Back in Black from number one album sales of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, what is it, 40 million plus or more now?
Yes.
Ain't it 40 million? Now, Rumors is way up there too for Fleetwood Mac all time.
Yes.
And actually, I think the Bee Gees, the Saturday Night Fever?
Yes.
That album?
Yes.
It's way up there.
Yeah, it is.
That could be a good Dean's Notes. He could come into the music show and bring Dean's Notes for music. We'll get the list.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could pop in. I try to do once a week. I try to do one show a week on the music. Well, it's been fun. I've been on an hour and a half, and I didn't plan to be but an hour. I thank you for coming in, Dean. I love to talk music.
Thank you.
The next show, which it might even be the end of the week. If I can, it'll be first next week. I'll bring 3 new albums, and we'll pick a new group to kind of talk about and chew the fat about. I've got so many that I want to talk about, so I don't know right now that I will. First song Brian Johnson sung with AC/DC is the Ike and Tina Turner. Yeah, Nutbush City Limits. That was a good song.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I liked a lot of Tina Turner stuff, but I didn't
do
like
too.
everything. And they had some good stuff too. Remember the old Austin City Limits show that would come on?
Yes.
Man, they had a lot of good artists that came on that.
Yeah, they did.
We'll have to talk about this too in the music show. Some of our favorite music shows. Because I want to go back. One of the things I want to do with this show is go back and highlight some of the old midnight specials. And I can't, obviously I can't play the whole thing with all these streams. I'll get in trouble. But I do want to highlight who was on certain midnight snack and, some of those Wolfman Jack and all that.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I grew up with that. And that got him the job. Yeah, that got him the job. That's right. But he was kind of recommended by Bond early on that guy, they were put on to Brian by Bond before he died, that this was a guy that they were like, you saw Stevie Ray Vaughan on Austin City Limits. I did too. It changed your life. Man, that dude's amazing, man. That Texas Boogie, man. I loved it. But if there was a guy that came along that could ever challenge Hendrix, it was him.
Yeah, it was.
For what flowed through him into the music, into the guitar, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I like American Bandstand.
American Bandstand. Did you watch the Soul Train?
No.
My mom would watch that. I could see Dean up there dancing on Soul Train. Soul Train. I saw. Man, I gotta get off here. I could talk all night. I saw. What's the bit? John Travolta used to. He used to sing too.
Yeah.
And he put out an album, and I saw him on American Bandstand. This is around the time that he was on Welcome Back, Kotter. It was a bad song.
I bet. No,
it sucked. They decided to capitalize on his stardom, and I'm not. It sucked.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I was like, that's a bad song. Bad song.
He can't sing, but he can play movies.
Yeah, Watchman says when he played Hendrix, it blew my mind. I thought nobody could capture me, but as Stevie Ray Vaughan did, and he did.
He did.
He did. I mean, he was like, I don't want to say the word because it's reincarnated. I don't believe in reincarnation, folks.
No.
But you know what I mean? It was like Hendrix was alive again as a white man. That's how much he could do it.
Oh, he did.
Anyway, I'm just tongue in cheek on that. Don't throw apples at the. I'm just saying
But
it was
you're
like
right.
he was living again through Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You're
It's
right.
amazing. It's like the DNA was in him or something. I mean, crazy. I mean, it's not like he had to go learn it. It was like he knew it. It was just in him to do it. He didn't have to teach himself. It was just him. That's who he was. Crazy. You see that every once. It's a generational type thing. It's very rare, but you do see that. Well, Dean, have a great night. Watch me have a great night. And everybody else is kind of hanging around late on a hump day. Thursday's coming. I want to be live back early, so I got to get into bed.
Yeah, you do.
Of course, I don't go to bed till 12 or 12:30. I just can't. Trying to get back into my mode of shows. Trying to get caught back up and get back on schedule and get going. So we went through some changes. There's a lot of great things coming on. It's good shows tonight, man. The racing hour, the sports, and the music. Thanks for popping in.
Mom said racing hour was the best one she's seen in a long time.
Well, I thank you. Later, Watchman, and thank you to Dusty. And he's talking about he would love to do his own podcast one day. He should. He's really good. But he's a fan, and he'll be back in. I think we have great chemistry with him.
Oh yeah.
Biscuit Boy will be back in the house this week.
Good.
Tomorrow night. Wolf Nation and Cornbread Nation. We'll do those two tomorrow night. So
what time?
And maybe I can slide in the history show later. So
what time tomorrow night?
We'll kick off at 6.
Okay. Oh no,
6 o'clock. Wolf Nation.
No, I'll be off. Okay.
Watchmen, no, but I heard about it. I heard about the clip of Bondi getting roasted by Massey today. I need to go watch that. I did hear about it in a headline. I've been busy and have not. We'll catch you in the morning, 5:30 sharp. And you be good, Dean. God bless you.
You too.
Everybody have a great night. We'll go out with this crazy song from the shed, from the soundstage song, and y'all have a great night. See ya. Salute. And Dean, go listen to your Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, right.
Southern Frame!
See ya, man.
Live from the shed.
Gotta stop Taylor Swift.
It's Southern Fried Sound Stage, you know we rock hard.
See you, Dean.
Baby, out here, that's the only way. We're bringing all the good times. Southern Fried Sound Stage, if you want to get crazy. Out here, that's the only way. We're bringing all the good times. All the good times. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried Sound Stage. Southern Fried